Whose definition of being fit are you chasing? Deep question maybe for a Tuesday. But whose definition are you chasing? Are you chasing the definition of fitness that someone else has for themselves? Like, for example, are you chasing the definition of fitness that you see as defined by social media? Are you chasing a level of fitness that lives up to someone else's expectation? Like, what does fit mean to you? Like, what are you making fitness mean to your life is probably the better question. Like, does it mean having to have abs before you're fit? Does it mean having to fit into size 10 jeans before you're feeling fit? Does it mean having enough energy to run around after the kids and keep up with them and play taxi to them and keep up with them when they go running around the garden? Is being fit the definition whereby you can run for the bus without being out of breath? Ultimately, the best definition of your health and fitness is being fit enough to do the things that you want to do with this one body that you have, not anyone else's. Like, someone else's definition of being fit may be something that is never ever going to be possible for you, or that is just something that you don't even want. Like, does it fit into your lifestyle right now? That is the best definition of what fitness is. It's being fit enough to do the things that you want. And will having abs mean that you have said energy to do all the things you want with the kids, working from home, juggling a business and all that kind of stuff? Or does having all of that energy mean that you will also have all of the abs and the toned muscles and all that kind of stuff? Like, what is your definition of being healthy and fit? Once you define that for yourself and ignore what anyone else's definition is, you then set out a plan. You work out where your weaknesses are, or what your strengths are and what you can develop, and then you go for it. Get a plan, start understanding your own body, your own level of current health and fitness, and then you attack it. You either adhere to the rules of lifetime, long-term health and fitness, which are building slowly, having a plan to follow, progressive overload and whatever, and you either do it by yourself or you get help so that it's even easier, so that you can learn how to do things better, more efficiently, so that they're not going to waste your time, money and energy, okay? But the first port of call is defining what your definition of being fit is, and then working out why you want to do it. Why you want to do it in the first place. Who are you doing it for? Who are you really doing it for? Is it for yourself? Is it for your partner? Is it to impress someone else? Is it because someone else said that you couldn't? Is it for the kids? Is it for... Who is it for? And why is it important to you that you succeed? Because if you really get to the crux of why it's important to you, and if it really is important to you, you will find a way to get to that definition of success in terms of your health and fitness. Whereas if your why isn't strong enough, you'll never get there, because It's your why that gives you that leverage. It's your why that gives you that urgency. It's your why that will keep you going when things get hard. And you said that you were wanting to get to this certain level of fitness. You said that you wanted to fit into those clothes or whatever it is that your level of, or your definition of succeeding in your health and fitness is. Once you define that for yourself, no one else needs to know. No one else is going to care because they're going to be too busy thinking about what their own definition of fitness is. So once you have your plan, you then work for it. You then put in the time, money and effort to work towards it. And if you're finding that it's not working by yourself, then you look at the data, whatever data that is that's available to you, and you tweak and you re-execute and you continue. You don't just stop because things aren't working. You look back at what you've done already and you learn from what has worked, you learn from what doesn't work, and then you go again. But the only way you fail at getting to your level of fitness that you've defined for yourself is if you stop. Because if you stop and you quit, then it's a failure, because there's no possibility, there's zero possibility of anything changing if you don't do anything. But if you do something, if you make any kind of change, if you are willing to pick yourself up and dust yourself off again and go again, then you won't ever fail because you're always going to be moving. Failure is ultimately stopping, is ultimately not growing, is ultimately not pushing yourself, is ultimately staying as you are. If you're happy with where you are, of course, stay there. Maintain that. But if you're not happy with where you are and you'd rather not just complain and bitch and moan about it forever, that is when you do something about it. Because you get to that point where you're sick and tired of having talked about it but never done anything about it, and you start doing something. And that is when change happens. When the pain of when the pain of, or the potential pain rather, of regret becomes bigger than the pain and the uncomfortableness of you actually doing something, right? So if the pain of regret builds up so that it's even bigger and it's more than the pain of you doing something, that is when the scales get tipped, so to speak, and you do something. But until that point where the potential pain of regret is bigger than the pain and effort it's going to take for you to change, then you won't change. So it's about accelerating that for yourself and finding what will multiply that perspective, what will make you feel that potential, what was the word I just used? Totally forgot. The potential regret, right? If you can make yourself feel the potential regret, if you can project yourselves forwards and imagine what that potential regret is going to feel like, and you churn that up and you multiply it and you feel it eating away at you, that is when you're going to do something, because your why is now massive. It's throbbing, it's burning a hand in you, it's burning a hole in your hand, and you have to do something about it because you've suddenly got urgency, you've suddenly got leverage, and then no matter what your definition of being fit is, you're going to get there because you would rather not feel the potential pain and regret that you've conjured up in your head. So one way of thinking about it in terms of the better question than just what is my definition of success is, the better question is, What's the cost of me not getting there? What's the cost of me not changing things so that I feel that way? And how big is that cost? And am I willing to pay it? Then, only then, will you then start to do something that is going to really change your life, really change your fitness and your health, physically and mentally.